God is each other. Are you in?
This is the Tim Rebowe Show, brought to you by the Sports Medicine Center of Thibodaux Regional. It's finally here, our Hall of Fame game, Saturday afternoon, back in Thibodaux at Gidry Stadium. You've got the Hall of Fame induction ceremony going on pregame, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m., and then second conference home game of the year for Nichols. We'll have the 1975 Gulf South Conference Championship team recognized at halftime. Coach Clements back in Thibodaux with the entire team with him. It's not a distraction for you, just an add-on, just an addition to the game day environment for you and your football team.
Yeah, let me mention before we get to that, they got a couple ex-players in here today. I just see Jimmy Morris, Kavaska Robinson just walked by, played for us in the 90s. Rudy August, who's from Napoleonville, played, so they all hanging out here. It's good to see those guys that back supporting, back in the program too. But man, I talked to Coach Clements today out at practice. He is so excited.
These kids here and the coaches here have put new life in me. I feel like I could coach again, and to be honest with you. It would be fun.
He was like walking amongst the clouds, that all these guys that are going to come back and be back for that special moment to be back on the field. And he was talking about some of the ones that he hasn't spoken to in years, that they lost and disconnect. He said some of them I haven't seen in 40 years. So he was just really excited, and that's a special group. We had the 05 2 weeks ago, and now we have the 75 team coming back again, and that's going to be a special moment. Hopefully these guys will get a little excited about it and play some good ball.
I think that's a great element of motivation, having the players who've had success prior, obviously, just as a great element for the players and certainly the folks at the stadium.
Yeah, it's going to be, I think the crowd's going to be electric like it was for homecoming, and have those guys in the stands. And there's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that was put on the field by some of those guys that's going to come back. And they want to see the program get back on the right track, and they know we're moving in that direction, so it'll be a special weekend.
You've always been able to tie the past with the present and have Gary Barbaro and Coach Clements and have these former players address the team, but now the options are a little more extensive with so many players back around this week. What are your thoughts on incorporating some of these players, the motivation leading up to this game, and having some of them speak with your team?
Well, first of all, I'm going to see if Rusty Rebowe and maybe Gary Barbaro can put a uniform on, and maybe we can get them back and make a couple plays and make a couple tackles for us. Huh? Coach Ryback, he might like calling the defense with those guys.
I just want to point out that Gary Barbaro is still the largest man in the state of Louisiana. They could play right now.
That's a defensive back.
Right now.
Yeah, he is special. No, we talked about it. I want to welcome those guys to come into the locker room and come around and come be a part in the place where they were. And look, if they can give a word of advice or motivation, then I'm all for it.
When you're a current player, it can sometimes be easy to feel like you're not on this team, just an athlete in general, a mercenary. You're hired gun. You're here for a couple of years and you're gone. All of this is really making an impression with your players that, you know what, when my eligibility is up, it doesn't mean my relationship with the university is.
Yeah, and that's what we want to try to build. We want to know that field house, that locker room, that field, that's theirs. I mean, they're the one that helped build that and program. And I keep telling the seniors that they are the ones that's laying the foundation for this program right now. And they already have 5 games into the season, and they're going to always remember that. And we want to make this a special place. And I want them to know, and all the ex-players to know, that the door is always open and welcome. And listen, it's not, and it's just not for the Gary Barbaros and the Ladarius Webbs. It's anybody who ever put that uniform on and got on that practice field. We love having those guys back involved.
It's really an interesting point in the season because you've been able to clean up a lot of the concerns that I'm sure you had going into the year, and now it's just ensuring that you're in a position to win every game. Well, here we are on Saturday, final seconds. Have the lead. Really, if you just step back and look at where you were heading into September the 12th against ULM, where you're at now, especially with what we saw from McNeese scoring the same amount of points that Southeastern did against them. Incarnate's got their 2 conference wins. Where have you made the biggest strides since September the 12th?
I think we talked about consistency, what we're trying to do offensively, and Coach Rob, and, you can talk to him a little bit more about that, when you look at where we were, we had 15 days of spring, and then a couple of the practices all still new offense and all still new defense, and then we had some young guys like you talked about put into the offense and put into the defense, and I think it's still just trying to find the right combination. And that's some of the things that we do. We are trying to find some guys and moving them around. Looking in the secondary, where I thought had some talented guys back there, and then we still have some freshmen that's coming in and playing and making a contribution in some of those things. So I just think, we're constantly talking about doing the little things right. That's going to end up leading to bigger things, and I think that's starting to show a little bit now. Totally not showing yet up on the field. We got a long way to go. We know that, but we are still making some strides.
First drive of the game, they go for it on fourth down. It's Amani Martin at the goal line, another freshman, knocked down, incomplete.
Four-man pressure. Conk looking end zone. Deep pass to Sylvester. Knocked down. Amani Martin with the breakup. Colonel stand. Nichols takes over with 9:43 left in the opening quarter.
Offense gets back on the field and scores. When you're assessing film, and you just said you're looking at combinations, you're looking at the full package, how does that play into your analysis when you're looking at one player on one side of the field, another player on the other side, and really trying to figure out how does everyone complement each other in the best possible way?
Well, I think that's when you have coaches in the box and you have coaches on the field, and all these guys are just, us all week being on the same page. I think that's what we got to do. We knew right then and there when they decided they were going to go for it. We were going to be ready offensively. Rob and them knew they were going to get a stop and be ready to go, and let's go down the field, take it up, and let's go up 14. We were so close, and I want to give some credit, talking to a guy like Michael Henry, who's been here, who we talk about, is just leaving it all out on the field and saying, Coach, we got to run the ball better. Coach, we're better than what we're showing.
We just got to do a better job of keeping it up the second half. We started off real strong, both offensively and defensively, and we just got to come back next week and make sure we can finish the game.
And they know they left some plays out on the field and left some points out on the field. Got to be refocused. We got to get good on special teams. Some of the things we didn't talk about today. We got to put some points on the board. Defense got to get off the field on third down, and hopefully we can have a happy Saturday night.